All right, here with boxing great Antonio Tarver. Antonio, what are your thoughts on this fight? Tszyu, Bakhram, Murtazaliev.
Hey, he's in there with a guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I don't know a lot about him. I can tell you I haven't really put him under the microscope, but I am familiar with Tszyu. I know that he had a tough fight out his last fight, but before that, Tszyu was at the top of the heat in the 154-pound division. I think an impressive championship win tomorrow puts him right back there. And you got to start thinking about the winner of Fundora Spence. You know, where's Crawford at in the 154-pound division? I know he still wants Canelo, but depending on how Tim looks, you know, Saturday night, everybody could be calling Tszyu name for a big fight in the 154-pound division.
When did Tszyu's name first catch your attention? When did you first come across Tszyu?
From the moment, you know, I went over there, knew about him early on, but the name is synonymous in boxing, bro. You know, and then when you look at his ability, looks a lot like Kostya, but Kostya, you know, I think he needs to get a lot more sharper like his dad was. You know, don't rely on the power as much, but rely on your skill. I think he has skill. You know what I mean? I'd love to see a knockout tomorrow, but we're not going to put no pressure. He's been out for a while. He's coming off a tough loss to Fundora. So, you know, the jury is still out. What Tszyu we going to see tomorrow? Could it be one that's still on top of the 54-pound division? You know what I mean? And, you know, could be a gatekeeper in that weight class. Win a title tomorrow night will be big for him in his future.
You mentioned names like Spence, Crawford, Charlo, those sort of guys. How's Tszyu stack up against those guys, do you think?
Now, you got to understand, before the Fundora fight, in that big cut, he was undefeated. You know, going through guys like Harrison, which was a great win. He looked to be at the top echelon of the division. You know, he had one setback with that cut. Let's see how well he took it, and if he can put it in the past and move forward. Is what we want to see, because if he wins tomorrow and maybe wins one more fight, he could be looking at a unification with the Fundora or Spence. You feel me? So in boxing, every day is a new script. You feel me? So the tables can turn tomorrow, and Tszyu can be at the top of the heat at the 154-pound division.
Tim's been so active. How important has that activity been for Tszyu's progression so far?
Very active, very well, because the latter part is you're either active or you're not. If you don't use what you got, you're going to lose what you got. And I think when you look at a lot of these fighters, even Spence coming off a long layoff and coming off a defeat, you know, that's scary because we don't know, you know, how he handled it, how he came back. So you want to give him I wish we had somewhere in boxing where these guys can get real tune-up fights. It used to be a part of the job, a part of the sport. We don't get tune-up fights anymore. You know what I mean? Because I guess these guys aren't fighting enough. They got to fight real fights in order to make the real money. You understand? So that's probably why these guys ain't taking those shortcuts.
Crawford's top of the division. He's getting on now. He's aging. Is it in Crawford's best interest to fight Tszyu earlier rather than later? Do you think if Tim gets through this fight, you know, Crawford should get in there with Tszyu, because Tszyu's only going to get better, whereas Crawford might age out? Is that a fair assessment?
Possibly could, but Crawford is a different animal. I think he'll be one of those type of guys that can fight past 40. And it's been very few fighters that have done that successfully. You're looking at one, by the way. I want to put that out there. But very rare do you get a fighter 39, 40 still can compete with these young guys because of their experience. You feel me? That experience level kick in, and that can be the difference in any of these fights. You know what I mean? But I've always been a fan of Kostya, and I've always followed his son, Tim. You feel me? Because his name is so synonymous in the sport of boxing, it's kind of hard not to. But what really struck my attention to Tim is just his aggressiveness, the way he go about those knockouts. He looks good in the ring. You feel me? From his angles. So, you know, he's a real well-schooled fighter, bro. And I like what he brings to the table.
Last one. What's your memories of Kostya? What stands out for you?
That time he came to America, like we'll probably never see another guy made a statement like him when he fought Super Zab Judah, and in his hometown. And Kostya came and did what he's supposed to do. Did what he's supposed to do. He stopped Super Judah for the first time, man, and that was amazing the way he did it. That was how you shake up the hometown and the home crowd. He came to America and really made a statement. Let's see if Tszyu can do the same thing tomorrow night.
Beauty. Thanks so much, bro.